The Foolish Goat and the Steep Mountain. Once upon a time, in a peaceful village nestled at the base of a steep mountain, there lived a young and carefree goat named Goro. Goro was known for his playful spirit and boundless energy. He loved to explore, often venturing out further than the other goats, much to the concern of the elder goats who warned him about the dangers of the world beyond the village. One day, while grazing on the lush green grass near the edge of the village, Goro spotted the steep mountain that towered over their home. Its rocky slopes and jagged peaks seemed to beckon him, challenging his adventurous nature. Goro thought to himself, "I'm the strongest and most daring goat in this village. I bet I can climb that mountain and reach the top without any trouble." The other goats, who were more cautious, advised him against it. "Goro," they said, "that mountain is treacherous and steep. Many have tried to climb it but failed. It's not worth the risk." But Goro, in his youthful arrogance, ignored their warnings. He was determined to prove his bravery and show everyone that he could conquer the mountain. So, without listening to anyone, he set off on his journey. As Goro began his climb, the path was relatively easy. The lower slopes were gentle, covered in soft grass and dotted with flowers. He trotted along, feeling proud of himself, and thinking about how impressed the other goats would be when they saw him at the peak. However, as Goro ascended higher, the terrain grew more difficult. The grass thinned out, replaced by loose rocks and gravel that slipped beneath his hooves. The air became colder, and the wind picked up, howling through the narrow crevices in the rocks. But Goro, too stubborn to turn back, pressed on. Soon, Goro reached a particularly steep and narrow ledge. Below him was a sheer drop, and above him, the mountain continued to rise sharply. He hesitated for a moment, but his pride wouldn't allow him to stop. "I've come this far," he thought. "I can't turn back now." As Goro tried to climb higher, his hooves slipped on the loose rocks. He stumbled, nearly losing his footing, but managed to catch himself just in time. His heart pounded in his chest as he realized the danger he was in. Still, he pushed forward, determined to reach the top. Finally, Goro came to a point where the mountain was nearly vertical. There was no more path to follow, only sheer rock face. Exhausted and frightened, Goro realized he had made a terrible mistake. He was too high up to safely climb back down, and too scared to continue upwards. As the wind howled around him and the cold seeped into his bones, Goro began to regret his foolishness. "If only I had listened to the others," he thought, shivering with fear. "I was too proud and now I'm stuck on this mountain." Goro stood on the narrow ledge, trembling with fear and cold. Hours passed, and as the sun began to set, casting long shadows over the mountain, Goro heard a